It's been a long
How's it going, big guy?
Playing a little reggaeton.
No, it's Sam Cooke. I'll kill it. Hey, Luke.
Yo, what's up, fellas?
Oh, nothing.
What's up, Luke?
We're about to get started.
Let's
Man, you
go,
look good
baby.
today, brother.
Well, what?
I said Luke's looking fresh today.
Thanks, buddy. Lizzie has a women's event that we're going to.
Okay, here we go. Guys, Rob Bergeron, Housing Associates. Joe Worth. Gosh, he doesn't really have a title because he does a little bit of everything. Joe, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell me about your beautiful fiance. Let's get the ball rolling.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Joe Worth. My fiance's name is Kim Fry. We have a real estate investment company here locally in Louisville called DreamWorth Homes. We do a little bit of everything. We do wholesaling, flipping. We got some rental properties. We do BRRRRs. We refer a lot of deals to realtors, aka Rob. So all things real estate.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I've got a couple other clients, maybe 2 or 3 that like do a little bit of everything, and Joe's like a unicorn. I mean, some people just don't buy anything. Some people don't do buy and holds. You literally do everything, which is cool. I mean, the more tools you have in your toolbox, the better equipped you are to handle whatever deal comes across your.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's awesome to know a little bit of everything in each phase of real estate. One thing we're trying to focus on is trying to hire people because we got a lot going up here. I mean, we're all over the place, so we're definitely trying to hire people and put some systems into place so that we can be more efficient with what we're doing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just on my end, but your screen froze like this. No, systems are great. I definitely have Colleen. She's like the best in the business. She literally handles everything, which allows me to execute at a high level with everything because she's literally doing all the stuff that bogs me down, which is just wonderful. So the point of today's talks is to answer some basic questions for out-of-state investors that they might have about our market. And then we'll get a little bit more involved. We're going to talk about one of the deals that we have right now going on, which has gone awesome. And then kind of what Joe's looking to do in the future with like his investing, talk about the current state of the market, and go from there. So first things first, Joe, I mean, let's say you were just Joe Worth who lived in Wisconsin. Like, why would you invest in Louisville, Kentucky market if you were an out-of-state investor?
All right. So funny you say that. I am Joe Worth. I am from Wisconsin. Came down to Louisville and we decided to stay. We could have moved anywhere after I finished up grad school, and we could have went back to Wisconsin if we wanted to, but we were already dabbling in real estate in Louisville, and we realized how awesome it is here. The price point of entry to buy these properties is very low. Louisville's an awesome city. There's a lot of amenities here that really draw young professionals here. And the real estate market is great. Right now, currently, there's a lot less houses on the market than there are buyers in the market. So you see properties, getting under contract first day with multiple offers, which is awesome for us as investors because we get to unload our deals and we get to unload them at a higher price than what they would typically go for.
Yeah, I've got one listed right now. We don't have an offer on it right now, but they've had so many issues with it. Like the air conditioner leaked, dripped into the drywall, had to replace the drywall. They had just a lot of stuff. And had we listed it and everything had gone great, we would have listed it at 150 like 4 months ago. But there just kept on being one hiccup after another. It's on the market at 170, and I'm expecting 3 offers on it in the next couple days, just because they're asking so many questions. But just think about that. In like 3 or 4 months, it appreciated $20,000. That's insane, guys. I mean, like, you can't beat that anywhere. Now, a couple things that I like about our market, our schools, which as a realtor, we're not really allowed talking about specific schools. But one thing that's interesting about Louisville is we have busing. everywhere. So we bus. So you could live next to a school and you're not guaranteed to go to that school. They might bus you 40 minutes to another school. So really, when you choose like a neighborhood to invest in, the school shouldn't have any kind of factor in your choice, which is also kind of great because our property taxes are only 1.1%, which is extremely low. A couple other things, we don't have a lot of natural disasters. We had this huge flood in like 1937 on the Ohio River, but we haven't had one since. Some might call that a 100-year flood. So in the next 17 years, we are due. It really works like that. There's volcanoes that should have gone off thousands of years ago, and they still haven't popped. But we don't have a lot of tornadoes, no flooding. I mean, we have flood zones you got to be careful about because you don't want to invest in have flood insurance and have that eat into your margin. Same with like, I don't like HOAs. I don't like, oh my gosh, in my head I'm calling them mechanical liens, but that is not the term. I don't know. I didn't sleep well last night. I'm like weaning myself off caffeine and everything. So it's not all caffeine, just some, and melatonin anyway. No, and then we have limestone, which purifies the water. So I grew up in Ohio, and we had to have water softeners because we didn't have our water purified as much, which is great on our appliances. Gotta love it.
Best tap water, Louisville tap water. It's the best.
It's number 2 in the country, guys. We don't want to brag. And then, gosh, guys, I'm ADD and I didn't sleep well, so I'm going to be all over the place today. But another thing that's really great is we have the second largest independent restaurant scene in the country, like basically by quantity. But I just read an article today where we're the number 32 foodie city in the country. There's a lot of cities in the country, guys, so I'll take top 32. We're an NFL franchise at that point, which we're never going to get. But we're pushing for NBA to Louisville, which will crazy affect property values downtown if it ever happens. I mean, Seattle's going to get one, Kansas City or us, hopefully for the other two, because they need an influx of money. So it's a great time for expansion. Anyway, sorry, there's nothing to do with it. Well, it kind of does.
Well, no, it does. I mean, going along with the food scene, I mean, the bars here are awesome. Breweries, I spend a lot of time with the breweries, and obviously Kentucky's known for their bourbon distilleries, so it brings a lot of tourists here too. So anybody that's out of state that's looking to invest in short-term rentals here, it's a pretty stable market for that. Obviously not right now because of all COVID, but in the past it was booming. I mean, you get a lot of people coming here for the Derby, you get bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, you get a lot. So in that regard, it's awesome as well.
Yeah, and actually, little facts. I'm from Ohio, so I'm still learning, guys. But 95% of the bourbon is produced in Kentucky, and part of the reason why it's so great is because of the natural limestone that we were talking about earlier. It filters the water, which makes our beer better and our bourbon better. So it's a real treat, guys. But yeah, the industry is crazy, and they're doing this thing called urban bourbon, where they're bringing in a lot of the distilleries closer to downtown. So you have more of like a walking, biking kind of circle, which is kind of great. And in these difficult times, when you're able to get alcohol delivered to your house a little bit easier now, business is good. People didn't stop drinking. But yeah, no, the market's great for that. Joe did mention the low entry cost. I was talking to David Green, and when we hosted a happy hour out in California 2 years ago, and he's like, to get a 5% cap rate, you would have to buy in Compton. And the entry level cost there, I don't remember what he said, but it was significantly higher. Here you can buy in 40210, 40211 for like $25,000 and have a 25% cap rate, which means, guys, every 4 years your house is repaid for, which means after 4 years it's straight profit. Like, that's awesome. But I mean, that's there's risk. So like if you buy an A area, you're going to cash flow a lot less, but you're going to be collecting a lot more.
You're going to get the appreciation.
Yeah. So Joe has done a great job of like kind of being right in that DC tweener, and then they've gone up and they've appreciated. Joe, why don't we let the cat out of the bag and tell people about William Street?
Yeah. So
when you bought it and what you bought it for. Let's start there.
Okay. So I bought a duplex and it's called the Clifton area of Louisville. The zip code is 40206 for everybody that's out of state listening for zip codes. I think you're frozen here, Rob.
I can see you. I'm sure. I don't know what's going on.
Was that frozen?
No, you're good. You're good on mine.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
I'll do
All
this
right.
when president on mine.
So zip code is 40206. I found this deal. I was driving for Dollars. I saw a for rent sign out front. Had the phone number on it. Called them. Said, hey, would you want to sell your property? They said yes. He was going through a divorce. So I just got lucky, honestly. I ended up buying it for $162,000. And we didn't do much to the property. We put a new tenant upstairs, and income on it in that area was generating about $2,100 a month. And then we went to refinance it because we wanted to keep it. We bought it with private money. So we were paying just interest only, and it was killing us. So we decided to refinance it. And the appraisal came in low. Came in at 175. I ended up disputing it. There were comps in the mid 200s, higher 200s. And the appraiser bumped it up to 195. And I was like, that's not enough. We needed to appraise for, I think it was like 220 or 225 for us to not have to bring anything to closing. And so I was like, screw it. Rob, let's list this sucker. Mm-hmm. Listed it for 220. Got a cap. Was it the first day? We got all cash offer, closing 14.
Yeah. Full cash offer. And then guys.
Closing today, actually.
What?
We're closing
it today. And this
Yep.
We listed this last week, guys. Cash isn't king like people think it is, but it is awesome when you have that closing timeline, because who knows what the world's going to look like. I mean, are we going to shut back down? I mean, Jay Bowman, one of my buddies, he posted something, and I didn't validate the facts, but it was like 60% of car owners that have loans on their cars are behind by 3 months. 60%, guys. That is scary. Hold off on buying cars, because there's going to be a lot of repossessed cars flooding the market soon, which is sad. Don't get me wrong. Like, that's not the dream, but buy when it's good to buy, sell when it's good to sell. It's the same with cars, I suppose. So tell them what they did to us, how they tried to get us, though.
Oh, so when they made the offer, they said that they will not request any repairs to be made. So, and I had the intuition that they would probably request a price reduction. So home inspector went out, gave the report, and then they wanted a $5,000 price reduction. But Rob, being the well-connected man he is, had a verbal backup offer for the same price. So I don't know what your communication was, Rob, or what you said to the seller's or the buyer's agent, but they ended up withdrawing that price reduction, and so we're still going to sell it for 220, and we don't have to make any repairs either.
So I would have got both sides if had we not. So it would have been win-win, maybe a double win for me.
It would have been better for you, but you being a fiduciary to your client.
Yeah.
The money is not the important thing. It's
about closing
your client.
Yeah.
And I even told you, I said I didn't want to have another inspector, another showing. My tenants don't like that stuff. So Rob did. So I really appreciate you, not doing that. It would have benefited you, of course.
Yeah. There's so many deals out there.
Exactly. And that I'm going to bring you a lot more deals. I'm sure a lot of people
exchange into something big. Oh, yeah. So why don't you tell people who don't know how 1031 exchanges work? Just give them a brief tidbit. Just tell them what your plan is, I guess.
Okay. So our plan with this property, we'll make over, I think it was like $42,700 we'll get at closing. So we decided to roll it into a 1031 exchange.
Wait, can we reiterate one thing? $42,000, and how long have you owned the
house? Since last October. So less than a year, 9 months.
Just remember that. We're going to get to that later on how crazy things are getting and about to get crazier. Go ahead. Keep selling them into your exchange situation.
Yeah. So we're going to do a 1031 exchange. So what that basically means is you can roll over the proceeds from one sale into another property of like kind nature. So basically we're going to roll that money into another duplex, triplex, fourplex, whatever we can. And that's going to be our down payment. And we don't have to pay any capital gains tax on those proceeds, which is awesome. I mean, I don't know if most people know, but capital gains on like a house like that, where it's technically a flip, where we've owned it less than a year, that's eating up, what is it, like 35% of your profits?
Now, guys, there are some caveats involved with the 1031 exchange. You have to identify that the next property, like kind or bigger, greater property, you're going to roll that money into within a short period of time. So you really need to have your eye down the road on what you're going to be getting. So Joe, like, I mean, he's so diverse on what he does in his business. So really, I'm sure he's got a lot of exit strategies on things he can put it into or roll it into or whatever. But what are your plans?
Well, we have 45 days to identify. And then from the time we identify, I think it's 180 days to close, or maybe that 180 days starts at the time.
And guys, you can identify more than one property. You don't have to not pigeonhole to that one property.
Right. So what we're going to do is now we're looking for either a duplex in like an A area that has great cash flow, or we're looking for like a triplex or a fourplex in a B, C area that's also going to bring us a lot more cash flow than this duplex is bringing us. And we're going to use that, $42,000 as our 20% down payment. And if so we're going to make a lot more in the long run, and we're going to probably double our amount of units that we had.
Yeah.
We're going from a duplex to maybe a fourplex. So we're doubling our units. And
guys, and one thing that's important too is sometimes people think that interest-only loans are terrible, and generally they are. Like, if you're like going to live in this place and you're not going to make money off of it, do not do interest-only loans. But Joe, I mean, if you guys see, like, he did an interest-only loan, and now he's pocketing $42,000 in less than 12 months maybe.
Yeah.
Like, so just get in the deal any way you can, and then like you can make things figure out. And if you build a great support group around you, you're not gonna be making bad decisions. And luckily, if you work with like the right hard money lender, the right lender, they're not gonna let you into a deal that's not gonna praise or there's no value. And I'm always happy to run comps on a deal, even if I'm not part of it. Just email me the address, the bed bath count. Happy to send it to you. No strings attached. Just passing that goodwill out. Okay, so let's see. So we've talked about this William Street deal that's closing today. We talked about the benefits of purchasing. Can you give them an example of like a burr that you did, or Morgan Street?
Morgan?
Yeah, talk about Morgan.
Yeah, I can talk about Morgan. So we bought a property. It was in zip code for everybody out of state, 40213. We bought it was a really small house, about 1,000 square feet, 1,100 square feet. We bought that one off market as well, and we paid about $58 for it, and we put about $35 of work into it, and then we sold it for what was it, $146?
I think it ended up being $148, but I might be lying to you.
Yeah. But I mean, this is another situation where we bought it. When we bought it, it was a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. And so what we did was we added a bathroom, made a master suite, updated everything. And originally when we ran the comps, Rob, when we bought it, we thought we'd resell it for like $125.
Yeah, that was your number.
We sold it for $20,000 more than what we thought we would be selling it for, which helps everybody.
Oh yeah,
helps the neighborhood.
It's just, and Frank Miller, the man, didn't even want that. Frank Miller's like this
has a
local
flip
guy
right on the other street, and I know our
did you get the frozen finger nose? Hold on a second, guys. We came up with a code, if you were listening before, where I touch my nose when the screen freezes. I can't tell if we didn't get far enough along to like learn if he's seeing my finger at all. I'll give him a second. But no, I mean, so think about this. We lost Joe. Joe will be back in a second. So one thing, okay, so nobody wanted this deal initially, and then it worked. You're back. Hold on, Joe, you're muted. Let me unmute you.
Yep.
There you go. So nobody wanted that deal.
My fiance is working from home, so we might have to increase our bandwidth, but
don't we all?
Right now.
Okay, so
but I don't know where I got cut off, Rob. If you want to fill me in, I can pick up where I left off.
You were saying, well, I was saying we were kind of talking at the same time. You're frozen again, unless you were off just stuck like that. I was just saying that Frank Miller didn't want this, and Frank's a local investor who runs Believe Investment Group. And he teaches people how to flip, burr, everything. Like, he kills it wholesale. And Joe took his class, learned a ton. So if you want to get to know Frank Miller, he's a good guy to learn from. We're like usually doing about 14, 19 flips at a time. He's on the board of directors with me at Korea. Smart guy. You there, Joe?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Where did I get kicked out?
I was just talking about how Frank's the man. You took Frank.
Oh, yeah, Frank. Frank taught us everything we know.
Yeah. And, okay, so we've talked about the reason. Okay, so low entry level cost. Guys, I just sent out a deal on the Louisville network. Now, if you guys don't know what the Louisville network is, basically I signed an NDA agreement with all the wholesalers because I've been running comps for them for like 6-7 years, August, and built goodwill, trust. Signed an NDA. They gave me their buyers list. I combined them to make one master list. And then now the list is over 4,000 people. So if you go to the LouisvilleNetwork.com, they upload their assignable contracts. I add my CMA, then it gets mailed out. And then you ask how to get in, I'll give you contact or how to get in. You give me a verbal offer, I relay it, blah, blah, blah. So guys, I just sent one out. The contract is $8,000. And the after repair value of the one I just sent out is $101,000. Guys, this is a 2-bedroom house, which it's a gut job, so I'm sure you can make it a 3-bedroom if you wanted to. Because look at that. I mean, there's 40,000 equity with a 60,000. Well, let me do the math. With a 52,000 rehab, I mean, you have 40,000 in equity on that. So that's a burr right there, guys. And if you add that other bathroom, the property value goes up, and you're going to be able to collect more rent. Guys, this is the market we live in. But one thing that's tough right now, guys, is you do need to connect with these wholesalers because I'm pulling it up right now, our single family count as of today on the MLS is disgustingly low. 1,551 houses on the MLS. Now, guys, when I started 6 years going on 7, we were at like 4,900 houses on the MLS. So our inventory is so low, and a lot of that is because people don't want people going through their house with like the risk of getting COVID and whatnot. So I think once the vaccine goes up, we'll see a little bit of a break, but still, I mean, we don't have a lot of builders in Louisville, and there's nowhere to build. So that's why property values going up. So every year you can generally expect $7,500 to $10,000 in interest. But if you buy in those more AV areas, those are appreciating at a higher level. I mean, Shelby Park, where Joe has some rentals, I mean, gangbusters. Tell them about that refi on what you bought it for and what it just appraised for on your cash out refi.
Yeah, we bought a property in Shelby Park. We bought it for 55. We put about 35, 40 into it, and it appraised for 154 before it was even finished. Like, we didn't have it finished. So appraised for 154. I know right now it's probably worth about 175 to 180. If I went and refinance it, I know I could get that appraisal because there's houses in that area that are now selling like 2-bedroom, 2-bath houses, selling for like close to 200,000, and ours is a 3-1. So like, I know that the value is definitely there. It's still appreciating too. Like right down the road, there's 4 new builds on Preston and Ormsby. I think there's 3 or 4.
Oh, there is. Yeah. I've got 2 coming up over there, and we're like, ours is a full rehab. Can we use those for comparables? We'd love that.
Yeah.
But guys, think about this. If you own 10 rentals and every year you're appreciating 10,000, conceivably every 2 years you could refi out $100,000. Or if you want to make it every year, you could refi $50,000 out, conceivably. You guys, it's a whole nother income. Like, that is like a salary. That is more than a teacher makes in a year. And guys, on the refis, it's not taxed. So you're getting all of that $50,000, and Uncle Sam's not getting a piece of it. There is so much power and value in this. I mean, Joe's reaping it. And guys, I told you Joe does a little bit of everything. Joe also house hacks.
We do. We house hack for sure.
So right now he lives on East Kentucky in 40204.
03.
03.
Yep.
And then he's moving to East Breckenridge, where he's converted to triplex. Why don't you tell me about the East Breckenridge deal that
Yeah,
nobody wanted?
Yeah, so I bought this one from a wholesaler here locally who's actually a really good friend of mine. And so like I wholesale, but I also buy from wholesalers. I think that's one thing that's important for people that are, if you're into working with wholesalers, but you're also wholesaling yourself, buy from other wholesalers because they might come across deals that you haven't gotten to. So we bought this large 2,000 square foot brick 2-story building. It had 5 exterior doors, so I was like, wow, we gotta convert this to something bigger. And we had to redo everything. So what we're doing is we've converted it to a triplex. We finished out the basement that has its own door as well, so it's going to be 3,000 square feet once it's all said and done. And we're going to live on one floor. We'll rent the other floor, and then we'll probably Airbnb the basement. And we should live there for free by doing that, if not cash flow. A couple $100 a month. So I just posted something on Instagram. If anybody's on here, give me a follow. It's joeworth_REI. But I just posted something on my story the other day talking about, a lot of people are told that a house is an asset, but it's actually not. It's a liability. An asset pays you money. So if you're owning a house and you're forking out money every month, it's technically a liability. So that's why we house hack, so that we can own a piece of property and, live for free while reducing our liability. Or we have other people paying down our note on our properties.
And guys, think about that, what that does for Joe's peace of mind. Like, he can be a little bit more risky in the market because he knows he's taken care of. His expenses are paid for. Mm-hmm. Like, there's so much value in that, guys. And it's tough to do. You're making sacrifices. Maybe you're sharing a backyard, sharing parking, whatever. But you do that for 10 years and then move on to the next thing. Like, you're wherever you want to live. You're gonna be able to afford something way cooler and awesome if you want it, or maybe a lake house or whatever. You can do whatever you want. There's just so much value in it, guys.
Let your rental cash flow, either you reinvest it, which I recommend, when you're first getting going, but let your rental investments pay for your lifestyle. So let's say you want to buy a new car and your car payment's going to be $400 a month. Well, maybe you need to buy 2 rental properties that are going to cash flow you $400, $200 each. Let those 2 rentals pay for your car payment. Get a bunch of rentals and let that pay for maybe a new build house you want to build, and your mortgage payment's going to be $1,500 a month. Let that group of rentals pay for your mortgage payment on your personal house. So if you look at it like that and change your mindset, it's going to get you more involved in real estate, and you're going to do a lot more deals, and you're going to have a better lifestyle. I think that's what having freedom in life is all about, is, being able to not worry about your bills. If you have other investments that are paying for your bills, that's the most exciting part. And that's why I love about real estate, is the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, and tell your friends about it. Like, Joe and I are going to be able to hang out when we're retired, which, guys, this is so addicting. I don't think anybody who's in this game ever really retires. Like, you're always going to be your toes in the water all the time. But yeah, if your friends don't get involved in this, you're going to be hanging out on the beach, and they're going to be at work, and you're going to have no one to hang out with. So I don't know. It's been tough. I've been trying to get all my friends into it, but you can only show them, right? But no, the cool thing is, like, Joe and Kim are able to travel. Like, every time we sell a house, like, oh, this will pay for the wedding. Like, this wedding is going to be crazy if that's true. If that's where all that money's, it's not. But guys, like, there's just so much value. Not only do you have appreciation on these properties, you're cash flowing. You're going to be able to claim a deduction on taxes, and you're paying down the mortgage. So you're making money in 4 different ways for every single property you own. Now, one thing I really want to discuss here, and I did a post about it on the CREA page, like, you guys all need to read Chris McCarty's article about hyperinflation. So you're going to see this, with milk, bread, everything, but your properties are about to hyperinflate too. Like, and we're going to benefit from it so much. Now, we're going to get ate up on other things. Like, right now, I want to put a new deck in my backyard, and wood is like 3 times the price if you can find it. So now I'm just going to wait and I don't need it that bad. But yeah, so resources are a little tougher to come by. I mean, that's something to be concerned about, guys. And things are always a little crazy with election and everything. And we have COVID and political unrest and everything. It's just a weird time to invest. And I know some people are really like holding back, but I don't know. I think if the deal's there, you just jump in, because sharks die when they stop swimming, when they stop moving. So don't stop moving. I'm sure everyone uses that analogy. So maybe we can find a different animal that, I don't know if there's another animal like that. I'm starting to go through the chat. Joe, anything else?
I think no matter where the market is, there's always going to be opportunity. That's why I like to have, know how to wholesale, know how to flip, know how to buy rentals and manage rentals. Right now, we're currently managing our own. But once we get to the point, we'll hire that out. But, when the market's down, obviously you're able to get properties a lot cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
When the market's hot, wholesalers, or how to, source your own deals, you can get them at a very low entry point, fix them up and flip them for that, what the market's demanding. So like, you just have to educate yourself and know what cards to play when. But I think if you have a little bit of everything in your tool belt, I think you're going to be a lot better off. And you're going to be able to handle those waves in the real estate market a lot better than others who are just flipping or just wholesaling.
Mm-hmm. And the flippers, man, guys, they get taxed at such a high rate. You make a lot of money, but man, you're being taxed really high. One thing that Luke Neubauer is doing that I think is so valuable. Luke buys a lot in the Shelby Park. He buys everywhere. Him and Christina's awesome. What they do is they're Airbnb their flips for 2 years, and then they're selling them as flips. So they're paying long-term capital gains. They're collecting money on the interim on those 2 years. They can keep them if the Airbnbs are cash flowing like crazy, or they can sell them. I just think there's a lot of value in that. There's so many people doing such brilliant things in our market. Like, really get out, get to these. Right now, it's more difficult to network and connect with people, but they're I don't know. I'm proud to work with so many of these people, and I'm like, wow, man, I had never even thought about that. Frank Miller has a question. Frank, what is your question? You can pop in with video, Frank, or you can just text it. Or not text it, group chat it.
I see his question here.
Oh, you do? I don't see it. Where is
Frank asks, what are the top areas you see the Louisville market? What are the hottest areas in Louisville market, zip code wise?
Well, okay. Newburgh's going crazy, guys. I'm selling stuff that my clients bought for 40, 50, 60. We're selling for like.
What zip code is that, Rob?
I don't know. Let me look it up. I don't know why.
Is that 218?
No,
218?
I don't think it is. I think it's. Hold on, I'm looking now. I've got one.
218 or 219?
It is 40218. Damn it, Joe, you're right. You are right. Yeah, like 40218. What?
I said, man, I should be a realtor too.
You basically are.
I've driven about every zip code, so.
Yeah, I know you have. And guys, there's so much value in driving for dollars too. I mean, that's where Luke and Christina get all their deals. They mine the same 20 houses for like 5 years, and they'll get 2 or 3 sales from it, and they're killing it. You guys need to meet Luke and Christina. They're awesome. Okay, so 40218. If you can still find a deal in 40214, 40203, I mean, you should move on them. I mean, I don't know.
Someone just said, Mo said 40215. I like 40215 a lot. Mm-hmm. It's 40215 is a weird zip code because, if you're on one side of Taylor Boulevard, the property values are completely different from the other side of Taylor Boulevard. So you just got to know, and you can look all this stuff up where the majority of, sales are. But I like 40215 a lot. I've done a flip over there. I've done some wholesales over there. It's a great rental market. It's a great rental area too.
I've got a triplex listing over there on East Wellington coming up. Joe has a flip coming up if we can get through all this probate stuff. It has been insane, guys. And then COVID is elongated stuff. But he's buying. What are you buying? This is an MLS deal. Nobody wanted it. It was full of junk. It was just like, is this a wholesale deal? Because it felt like it. What are we getting this for, Joe?
35.
35. After repair value on it was like 120, something like that. And guys,
I'm gonna push 130, 135.
well,
I don't
that's what I was gonna say. The longer it takes, the more money it's gonna be worth in our market. I mean,
yeah, what is it currently, like a 2-1?
it's a 2-1, and we're
But
gonna get a 3-2.
it's got an upstairs. The ceiling height's high enough. It's just not finished. And so what we're gonna do is put 2 bedrooms upstairs, and we're gonna have a master suite on the downstairs and we're gonna have another bathroom just for the rest of the household, and then we'll open up the kitchen and living room and just make an open concept. Beautiful everything, flooring, tile,
And
granite
it's small,
countertops.
guys. It's not gonna take that long. It's a small house.
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe like 12.
I like the small houses. I
Mhm.
love them.
The
They're
turn
so
time on
quick.
them, so mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When you
no,
get big houses, it's just the big houses, man. You got more to clean up. I mean, a lot more pieces of the puzzle. With these small houses, they go pretty quick, and you can get them at some pretty good pricing. You get them off market, especially. But this one was on the market.
yeah,
So you got
people think if it's on the MLS, it's not a deal, but that's not the case. Some people just don't see the value. I mean, yesterday I looked. Well, I didn't go look at it, but I ran comps on it for one of my clients, and it's a great bird, guys. And the entry level cost is like 45,000, and like the after repair value is 100. So as long as you keep your whole rehab on a 2-1, you keep your whole rehab under 30. There's a bird. That's on the MLS.
And that's pretty easy to do too, especially if you're just doing cosmetic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And for a rental, you're not having to put, you're not having to put all the stuff that you're going to put into a flip. I personally do, but depending on what your budget is, you don't have to.
Yeah, the big thing for me is just getting rid of those major capital expenses. Like I'm Dennis Earhart on it. Tank proof. Change out all the toilets, the cartridge toilets, even if they're totally fine. Replace the roof, windows, HVAC, water heater. Like, don't let those expenses hit you in the first 4 or 5 years, because it's going to eat all your cash flow. Do it up front, eat it then, and then just have peace of mind, and then sell it if you want 10 years later before you start having those expenses. I mean, it's going to be appreciating. Or you refinance again, guys. Pull that tax-free money out and then go play some more. Okay, let's see. I'm going to the question chat. So Newburgh Properties, Chuck, I just sold one like 2-3 months ago for 140. I've got one listed for 130 that it's like a half-ass flip. It's not very good. And he knows it, so I don't feel bad saying this. And so I mean, we're doing a little bit more work on it to get sold, but it'll sell at that 130 once I relist it. It didn't have appliances, didn't have an air conditioner. We're shooting for 130. It has a gravel driveway. We're going to get that one up and running. Okay, good contractors. JC Leach. JC is from Utah. Played baseball. Awesome dude. He came in, flew in, and we had drakes and talked. Awesome dude. I actually have a great resource for you. My buddy from the board, Eric Hitzelberger, is opening up to taking more clients for rehabs. So guys, I know Eric personally. He's not going to run away with your money. He does good work. He is also of the mind to tank proof your listings. And so Eric just sent me an email a couple days ago, like, hey, Rob, I'm not telling everyone about this, but if you want to start sending me a few people, and well, we're going to send a lot of people now. Eric's on the call, so hi, Eric. So yeah, guys, if you need someone who's great and reliable, I've got a great guy for you. And then, yeah, so he's a good resource, JC. I can send you that information. As far as the out-of-state buyers I'm working with, typically they're from California or East Coast, just because that seems to be where all the money is. But they're trying to buy multifamilies, usually 4 and up. In the commercial world, I like to write full-price offers if it's newly on the market, and then we'll get the inspections back. And the inspections on multifamilies are way worse than a normal inspection, because you have 4 kitchens, 4 everything. So you can usually have a fair reason to beat them up a little bit on price. But our market's so tight, like you really need to get your offers in quick on the commercial stuff. Not to be salesy, it's just get your foot in the door. Yeah, Eric just shared his information. ERIK at FPG-KY.com. Eric Hitzelberger, you can find him on Facebook. And Joe Worth, you can also find him on Facebook. Facebook. Guys, I swear, off the Mio, off the melatonin, I am struggle bus. But okay, let's see. Joe, any other good tips you would want to give?
I missed what you said, Rob. I was frozen.
I was just saying, do you have any other tips or advice about investing on market for out-of-state investors?
Wow. Just do your research. Talk to people that are here locally. Network. Bigger Pockets, great resource. If you don't know about Bigger Pockets, just type it in on Google. They have a podcast too, but you can network with people in the market here in Louisville. Obviously, Rob's a great resource. Probably knows about every investor. He's at every meetup. There's Facebook groups. Just type in like Louisville real estate or Louisville real estate investors, and there's tons of groups. There's a local group here called CREA, Kentucky Real Estate Investors Association. That's an awesome resource. Right now, they're doing all of their monthly meetups online, virtually on Zoom. So, we talk about the local market the majority of the time during those meetings, and you can meet people in the chat. So just network. I mean, networking is a huge thing. I mean, you can find somebody asked about contractors. If you network with the right people, you're going to get some contractors for them. If you go in these Facebook groups and type in like drywall or something, there's always people asking about who's the best drywall company. Everybody have a drywall, and you can find contractors that way too. And then it's
more importantly, you're going to learn the ones that aren't good. Right,
that too. And now what I was going to say was just do your due diligence and just interview them. I think it's important to interview contractors, get references. I need to do a better job of that. Sometimes I get too busy where I don't have the time to, do a phone interview and get recommendations. I'm just like, all right, give me a bid. All right, who's got the best price? Who looks more legit? So, but out of state, I mean, there's definitely a way you guys can get involved in the local without having to be here.
Yeah, and guys, what did you say, Joe?
I said just rely on the right people and get to know the right people who are going to, help you invest while you're out of state. Networking is.
I was going to say just definitely cross-check. So I'll send out like a CMA with one of these assignable contracts. Definitely cross-check the after repair value, kind of like get an idea of what the repairs are, but make sure you look at like Rentometer for rental estimates, because that's going to decide how much you cash flow and how much you can pull out. Because the more money you leave in, the more you cash flow. So that's a great tool. Tomorrow we're hosting CREA, today's Wednesday. Wow, I am spent. I might take a nap. Tomorrow is our main meeting. The pre-meeting starts at 5:00. If you're not a member of CREA, you can go to CREA.com, sign up there, and then register. If you're looking for off-market deals and you're not receiving them, you can go to the LouisvilleNetwork.com and sign up there. Guys, we really greatly appreciate you coming to hang out. I haven't had time to do this lately because it's our busy season. But I am hosting one on Friday with Jade Bowman. We're going to just be discussing the market. It's free. You can just sign up. I'll send out an email. I'll have a recording of this if you want to send it to your friends or whatever. I'll post it on my YouTube channel, which has some terrible videos of me singing, so don't look at my Facebook channel. I might make a new channel now. But anyway, thanks, Joe. Joe's the man. Does a lot of deals. He's got a closing to get to shortly. We're just making $42,000 on something he's owned for a year. All right, guys. Thanks, Joe. Joe's frozen, so I'm sure he'll say thanks to you. But thanks, guys. I'll talk to you all later. Have a good one. See you soon at noon.